Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I have a fun fold for you, and it's called a swing fun fold. Swivel. I've seen it called a couple different places. Of course, I did not develop this myself. I've seen it all over Pinterest, and some people call it a swing card because it swings open this way, or a swivel card. So I'm using a new bundle that's going to be coming out in the January to June mini. Also, we could affectionately call it the Spring Occasions Catalog, but it is now called the Mini Catalog from January to June. And it is a beautiful bundle. It's called the Art Gallery Bundle, and it has the Art Gallery stamp set. So it's got two-step stamping in it with these beautiful brushstroke images. A lot of different sentiments in here, and there's going to be a surprise here in the dies. These dies are the Floral Gallery dies, which of course cut out the flowers and the sentiments, but look at this great big die here. It says, just want to say, I miss you. Just want to say congratulations, good luck, happy birthday, sorry, thank you, best wishes, you are lovely, I'm thinking of you. So this is a really great big bold die cut, and it's going to be so fun to use with the Art Gallery bundle. Now I'm also using on this card a new embossing folder that's going to be out, a 3D one called Painted Texture, and it literally looks like that gesso type painted texture, like spackling type thing. It is so deep of an emboss, it's gorgeous. And the reason I chose to use that one is because the new paper that comes with this, called the Fine Art Floral Dsp, is just gorgeous. And as you can see in the paper, you can see those like kind of like those oil painting, like when they would take the paint palette on, and it is just beautiful. Look at these gorgeous colors in here. Almost every color you can think of, from the pinks, your blues, your greens, mossy meadows in there. You've got flirty flamingo, petal pink, night of navy. You've got bumblebee and so saffron and Mary Merlot and flirty flamingo. It's just so pretty. A pool party, and I love this one. It's has like a little bit up here that you could use this for a really big like if you're doing a frame or something. And there's another one that's beautiful with this blue background here, this night of navy background. So you've got some gorgeous colors to work with in the Fine Art Floral Dsp. Okay, so let's get started here with this card. I mean, it looks like, oh gosh, that's a hard card to make, but it's actually super simple once you just know how to do it here. So I chose this real pretty paper that had So Saffron, Bumblebee, and Poppy, and Merlot, and Mossy Meadow. So I decided to use my card base to be Mary Merlot. Now this Mary Merlot is just a half sheet of our cardstock, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. All the measurements, all the materials I used, all the colors, additional photos are over on my blog. They're also under the description on the YouTube video. Just see more on the description, and you'll see the products I use. Now these will not be available till January 4th when the catalog comes out. It's just a little sneak peek, but you can also jump over to my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, and you'll find additional photos of this card. So here we go. I wanted to put this piece of designer paper on the front of my card. So you just have your basic, boom, done. Where is my bone folder here? Oh, you know what? I was over at my daughter's and took it. It's still packed in my bag. So we just fold it in half at the 4 1/4, and we've got our card base of Mary Merlot. And then I wanted to put this designer series paper on the front. Now on this card, as you can see, we're going to be cutting out the middle of the front of the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our adhesive only around the end, around the edges of the paper, because when we cut this out, we're going to have this piece to use on another card. So we're just going to use a little bit of our Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, and I just opened up a brand new one. Can you imagine? I actually threw 4 of them away on my desk that were fighting to get adhesive out of. So we're just going to put our paper on. We're going to kind of see it kind of it is kind of non-directional, but a few of the flowers are facing a little bit different of a position. So we're just going to put that onto the front of our card, trying to get an equal border, about 1/8 of an inch, the whole way around each side. Okay, and remember, we only put our adhesive on the edges of our paper, so this part won't be adhered, because if we want to take it off of that piece of Mary Merlot, we can. So after we're done with this, we need to cut this out. Now I picked, and I'll have the measurement for my stitched rectangles. I used my rectangle stitched framelit dies, and I just put the die. I had to open up my card to run it through my Big Shot. Or if you have the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is what I ran it through, but you're going to run it through open, because if you keep it closed, you're going to cut through this piece too. So you're going to run that through, and you'll see it just comes right out here. I did put a little sticky note on there just to keep it in place. And then I'm just going to take that off, and by the magic of the video, I'm going to show you what it ends up doing. So then we're just going to pop this piece out here. And we have a little frame made here on the front of our card. And as I said, this piece, of course, is gorgeous, and we're going to use it on another project. So there you go. You've got 2 non-wasted pieces of paper there to use on a different card. Now, when you're making one of these cards, whatever opening you are, when you put your swivel mechanism in there, or your focal image, you're going to want your next piece in here to be a little bit smaller than the piece you cut out. So then I just took the next down layering die down on the measurement from the one I cut out. It's a little bit smaller. You could even make this one even smaller if you wanted to. But the way I put this card together, I wanted my die to actually fit around my focal image. Now say this would have been a thinner flower, I could have went in a little bit more. So that's the way I did that. Now look at this beautiful painted texture here on this. Because I was putting white on white, I wanted to give it something that jumped out, and wasn't that just pretty cool to use that textured paint just like it is here in the designer paper. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is make that inside white. That is going to be that mechanism here for our card. You can see this cute way it stands up here with this mechanism here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a piece of Whisper White, or whatever color you've chosen for your card there. On this one I'm using Whisper White, and we're going to cut it down to 5 by 8. 5 by 8, and then we're going to do some scoring. So 5 by 8, then we're going to take the 8-inch side into our trimmer, and we're going to put it at 2, and we're going to score. We're going to put it at 4, and we're going to score again. We're just putting it at 2, 4, and then at 6. And now we end up with 4 2-inch sections. So we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all 2 inches. And so then we're going to bring back our card. Oh, there it is. It's hiding under here. Now, I loved popping these up here. When I originally first made this card, I just stamped directly on the white, and then I just stamped the I miss you directly on the white, but it just was kind of lacking something because there was so much texture and fun on the outside of the card. I decided to go ahead and stamp these and die cut them and pop them out on the inside, and I think it just added so much more to the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to not have to worry about it now, but had I stamped this, you would want to stamp it now before you fold it, because then once you fold it, if you're trying to hold it flat and trying to stamp on it, it's a little more difficult. But in this case, we're going to actually be putting the die cuts adhered with Stampin' Dimensional, so we don't really have to worry about that. But remember to keep it flat and do your stamping if you're not doing that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our card this way so that when we go to put our card together, this part here is adhered to the card. So you want to have this part to be secure, and then we're going to end up having this piece secure on this side. But we can go ahead and secure this side here. So I'm going to put some glue here. And because we are going to be writing, you know, well, somebody's going to be writing a message there. You don't want to put glue all over here because I guarantee it is going to make marks on your paper. So we are just going to take just that first quarter section, just that first section, and we're going to adhere it to our card. And oh, I almost forgot to tell you the way we're going to do that. You're actually going to have a little more of the cardstock showing on the top, the right side, and the bottom, because this is going to be adhered this way. So when you're placing this on, just put this along the fold and get an equal portion on the top and the bottom, okay? Because this is going to be adhered here. So we're just going to put it right along that score line and then put the white down, okay? So that is how that gets adhered. And it's only adhered now on that one back portion, okay? So it's just that back portion is adhered. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some adhesive along the score line and along the top and the bottom. Now here you can see we have about 1/2 inch here. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my tear tape here because that is about 1/4 inch. And I'm going to put that right along, right flush with the edge of that white. And then just tear it there. Love the tear and tape. Okay, now whenever we go to adhere this down, you can see that it's covered by the border, but we have to be really careful on the upper part and the lower part. And I'm not quite sure there's quite enough room. So just to be safe, I'm going to use my glue and just put it right along the top and the bottom. Yes, glue does take a little bit more time to dry. And where is my paper piercing tool? I just had it. Oh, here it is. You know, I can't find my take your pick tool. I think it's actually packed in my bag from when I was watching my puppies over there the other day. So now we have the tear tape here along the score line, and then we have the glue on the top and the bottom. We're going to close the card to adhere, and we only did it up to the score line. You don't want this to be adhered on the edges here. So you're only putting adhesive right to the score line, and having the tear and tape along the folded line really helps you to be able to know that it's going to be secure. So there we go. Now watch when we open this. You'll see now that we can open up and fold that portion, and now we have that fun fold there. Isn't that cute? There we go. Add a little bit of glue there. Okay, so now we've got the basic fun fold made. And what we want to do is put, ooh, I'm going to get my adhesive remover over here, my little gummy thing here, and get some of that adhesive off. So what we're going to do now is put our focal image in the front of here. And what like I said before, I just took that next die that's smaller to put inside there, and look how fantastic that painted textures embossing folder just adds a whole new dimension to the card. So now, because we want it to open here on the left side, we're only going to adhere it on the right side of the score line that we can see here, okay? That fold line. So we're going to do that same thing, but I think I actually, yeah, I think I am going to use glue. So we know it's going to go not past the score line. And we're just being careful to make sure that we're not putting glue clear till the edges. Okay, then we'll put our stitched rectangle that we embossed with the painted texture embossing folder, and we'll just get it right centered in there, a little bit over, Cindy. Okay, we're going to hold it down since we did use glue. And now make sure that's, you'll see that that swivel is going to happen. Is that cool or what? So now I went ahead and put the focal image there. And what I did is I stamped two-step stamping on the flower, and I used Bumblebee and oh, the So Saffron is the lighter one and Bumblebee is the darker one. But I'm going to show you a little trick because I plan on making a few of these for swaps. So I'm going to show you what I did using my Stamparatus. Where did I put, oh, here it is. Okay, now, what I did to make, whenever I'm ready to mass produce this a little bit, even if it's just making 2 or 3, I'm happy to do that. So what I did is I stuck a piece of Whisper White in my Stamparatus. I put it up there in that corner, and I'm going to, what I did is I put my flower down on here. Now I'm not going to move it now because it's actually in place exactly where I want it. And I am going to, I stamped my darker, I mean my lightweight. I did my lighter one first. So what I did was I stamped, now I'm going to bring okay, so what I did is stamp that lighter one first. The lighter one would be the So Saffron, and I knew that the lighter one was So Saffron because I looked on the back of the package and it always lists what the colors are in your designer series paper. So I just inked it up with So Saffron, and that would be the background stamp, the bigger part there that you can see. And then I just got that nice and stamped there. Okay, now, then I took the highlighting one, that is, I'm going to use the darker color, and it's going to be my Bumblebee. And so what I did is then I took and stamped the Bumblebee on, made sure that was back in place in the corner, and I put the Bumblebee. Now, whenever the Bumblebee was stamped at first, it was very dark, and I thought, oh my gosh, but it dried beautifully. As you can see, it just dried a lovely color that matched the designer paper beautifully. So then I have my, and see, it's darker now, but it just does dry significantly lighter. So after I had this, I took the die that comes in the Floral Gallery dies. So I took this die and I placed it on my image. Got it perfectly placed, took a little sticky note, and I took it over to my Stampin' and Cut emboss machine. And then I came back with this beautiful die cut, and then I had this negative left over from where I cut it out. So then I went ahead and I put this back in. Now this means I already have this done, and I stamped it perfectly with my Stamparatus. So right here, I then put it back in here. I went over and I cut out 10 of these blank white ones, 10 of them. And then I came back and I popped each one of them back in there. Now, I'm not sure where my magnet is. Oh, I know what I was doing it for. I was using it for something that wasn't for my Stamparatus, and now I don't know where I put it. So I just stuck that back in there, and then I'm just going to repeat what I did with my... This is a great way to get a lot of things done. So I went down to the more solid, and I did So Saffron. Now remember, this is just a blank one. I mean, you can like pretty much be not even looking at your die cutting machine when you're cutting these. And then I went ahead and I did my So Saffron. And then I lifted it up, put it back in place if it moved, and then I switched again, and then I got out my Bumblebee. And notice that it's in there. This is one of the most valuable techniques that you can use with your Stamparatus. And then I just went and took my next white one, my next white one, my next white one, and I didn't have to sit there and put them onto my Big Shot or my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I didn't have to move them around and cut them all individually, getting them perfect, because I already had it perfect that time. Now, if I take these off of here, I have to do this again. I have to do the whole process. Make a perfect stamp, die cut it, bring it back, because once I take these off, it doesn't match this template. But that's a way, if you're going to make even 2 or 3 or 4 different cards, it's so easy because you cut this one out, you have this left over, just pop it right in there, and there you go. So I'm going to set this aside so we can now put together the rest of our card. So as you can see here, there's these beautiful blooms in here that have mossy meadow for the leaves. So I did stamp the leaf, 2 leaves on the stem in mossy meadow, and I die cut it. It has a great die in there for that. And I'm going to put that on the, you know what, why don't we just go ahead and stick with our glue today? Hot stick with the glue. Ha 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 ha. Little pun. Okay, so we're going to pop that onto the lower portion of that focal image there. And I put that mossy meadow leaves down there. You might have to hold it just a little bit longer. And the glue is really good because it can seep down into that really, I mean, this is a beautiful embossing photo. Aha, look at that mossy meadow leaf from another project. Okay, so then I popped up this beautiful bloom here. This bloom that was made with this, and do you just love how perfect the match of the colors are on that? And then we're just going to pop that up with some dimensionals to give some dimension to the card. Here we go. Some dimensionals there. Make yet a little more mess on your crafts place. And then we put that beautiful bloom popped up there. And then what's really cute in this Art Floral bundle are these sweet dies here. Now, of course, you know you're going to be using these dies like crazy when you get this bundle. It's just, they'll be used with so many other stamp sets you have too. And of course, you're going to use these sentiments to fit in a lot of other dies we have as well. So what I did is on this one, I did the I'm Thinking of You and used the longer, it's kind of like a postage stamp, long die rectangle. And I did the I'm Thinking of You and I Miss You. Now this one I wanted to do a birthday. And so what I did is I stamped the happy birthday and I pulled out on this card, So Saffron, Bumblebee, Mossy Meadow. And then on the and then I wanted to pull out the poppy. This red here that you see, this kind of bright, fresh, red color is our Poppy Parade. And so what I usually do is I just come in here on the edges of my, actually, you know what? I cut that one a little bit small and I just use these edges of my dimensionals. They're perfect when I'm going to be putting them on a little long, skinny die cut. Now this one needs to be a little longer. So I'll just pop that and get that little strip. Oh, I remember we had a new stamp art class one day and she used all the dimensionals and threw that away and somebody jumped up and said, no, that's not garbage, it's valuable. So yeah, I have bags and bags of those. So I'm gonna put the happy birthday across here. Now this happy birthday also fits in that 2-inch slot. So if you wanted to, you could have stamped happy birthday in there or up at the top, but I wanted to see how it fit in this rectangle die. So then we're just going to pop that onto the front, happy birthday. And then we're just gonna put this, I think it's just an I miss you. A lot of times when you're sending the birthday card, you're not seeing them on their birthday to give it to them. So we're just gonna put the I miss you up here at the top. And like I said, I thought it just really added to the card, having it popped up on the inside. And then what I did on this one is I used Petal Pink. I used this image, which I think this layover here probably goes on one of these here, but I went ahead and popped it onto here. And I don't know that it's supposed to be there, but it gave me a 2-tone pink and I liked it, so I went with it. So then we're just gonna put a couple dimensionals on the bottom of there. And we'll just pop that on the bottom of the inside here. And I think that, you know, seeing all the dimension on the front and the inside really adds to the card. You can write your message in here. And so there you have a fun fold. Oh, let's add a little bling. And by bling, I mean some pearls, because I do like white pearls with white. So we're just gonna pop a few pearls on here. Maybe one here, And let's put one in here. Got a few little pearls on there, and they're actually probably going to be protected nicely because this is raised up here. So isn't that a fun? And see how quick and easy that was? You could make this opening here a circle, and then you could put a circle in here that would swing out. So there's all kinds of different shapes you could put in there, but it is a fun fold called either swing card or a swivel card, and you'll see them all over Pinterest. And so make sure you take a look when your catalog comes in the mail or it goes live online for the art gallery bundle with the art gallery stamp set with the floral gallery dies, and then the fine art floral designer series paper. And you will not want to pass by this painted texture 3D embossing folder. It's gorgeous. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can call me or text me at 724-323-2296. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up if you would. And I like to post a video on Wednesdays. I usually post on my blog Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and any other days there might be special promotions going on or something exciting I want to tell you. So subscribe to my blog so that you're notified whenever I'm posting something there. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.